in the last stream, we were working on finally automating the production of nether stars, combining the endstone, vibrant infused wood, glowstone, shaped radiant quartz, and celestial crystals. And between streams, I have had the world open for a little while, and we're now up to 8 nether stars. Not a crazy amount, but we are still getting there, slowly but surely. The main culprit, of course, for the slowness is this setup right here, the one making the celestial crystals. Between streams, I have gone ahead and duplicated the setup here. It's exactly the same, but this time it is connected via this lens right here. So by default, of course, you can't connect star power through blocks, so I couldn't directly connect this collector crystal to the iron ore underneath this crystal. However, if you go through a lens with a spectral lens, and again, the naming here is a little weird because the item itself is called a lens, and then the item that you put on the lens is also called a lens. So when you make a lens, you can put on a spectral lens, thus allowing the starlight to pass through blocks, which is pretty nifty and allows us to do stuff like this. This is going to reduce the amount of starlight that can go to each piece of iron ore, but I'm hopeful that combined, this is ever so slightly faster. Going forward, we might want to look at moving these setups so that they're further apart. And the reason why I didn't just make another collector crystal and put that down here instead is because if you put 2 collector crystals too close together, I think within 16 blocks of one another, then they both utilize the same kind of area of sky, the same amount of star power, and so they both actually produce less star power if you put them too close together. So what I might do going forward is I might move both of these setups kind of out of the base a little bit so that we can have multiple of these, each with their own collector crystal, thus hopefully allowing us to get these celestial crystals even faster. I've also gone ahead and moved the radiant resonators. They used to be right here where this big old hole in the floor is. The reason for this will become apparent a little later on in the stream, but I've gone ahead and moved them over to here. They still work in exactly the same way. We still have the ender porcupine, and we still have all of the ender chests underneath, distributing all of the radiant quartz to wherever it needs to go. And finally, I've spent quite a bit of time making these size 400, purity 100, cutting 100 rock crystals. I basically cut out a few holes here so that every so often I could come over and do something like this to duplicate our 100 purity crystals, and then cut them, grow them until we have the size 400, purity 100, and cutting 100. The reason for that is that I actually want to make some lenses. Now, I think I might have made a mistake here, actually, because, yeah, I think if we're going to make a lens, I think we want to make sure that the lens is made using a good rock crystal, because you'll see the lens does inherit the properties of the crystal you use to make it. So I think while this one is going to work, I don't think it's going to do a very good job at moving the starlight over to the iron ore here, simply due to the fact that we didn't use a particularly good rock crystal to make it. Going forward, I might replace this, but for now, I want to work on this altar over here. So we're going to slowly but surely gain nether stars over the coming episodes here until we get up to 64. While we wait for those to grow, let's take a look at the challenge quests. There are quite a few of them. Some of them are not going to be too difficult. Some of them are going to be more difficult than others. The Rainbow Stone is going to be by far the hardest. I think the second hardest is going to be the Block of Emerald. You can make a block of emerald, of course, by crafting together 9 emeralds. And then to get the 9 emeralds, you can either smelt emerald ore, or you can put diamond ore into a starlight transmutation. I think we can get both diamond ore and emerald ore if we use a ritual, which you can do with these ritual pedestals here from Astral Sorcery. So the ritual pedestal itself is not too difficult. It's a bunch of marble with 2 gold, 1 crystal, and 1 bucket of liquid starlight. Let's go ahead and grab that bucket real quick here. We'll then also grab, I guess, a little bit of marble while we're at it. And I think we're probably going to need a new chisel here. Our current chisel is on its last legs. And so if we just quickly grab a stick and an iron, I'm actually going to go as far as to throw away the current chisel, because I really don't think it's going to be too useful for us. At that point, we should be able to get this going. So if we check the Astral Tome here, this is the multi-block required to make the ritual altar work. I'm not quite sure why it says 9 by 4 by 9 here. Usually this is the X, Y, and Z dimensions of a multi-block. It says 4, but the multi-block is only 2 blocks tall. Not quite sure what that's about. But before we do that, let's go and see if we can't make the actual altar itself here. So we need 2 chiseled, 3 runed, 4 pillars. That seems very doable. So boom, and boom. That's going to get us the actual Ritual Pedestal. Perfect. We then need to build the multi-block around it over here. For that, we're going to need a bunch of marble in various forms. We need 20 marble arch, 24 marble bricks, 1 chiseled marble, and 12 regular marble. So I think we're going to need more marble than what we currently have, but we need 20 marble arch. We need 24 marble bricks. We needed 12 regular marble. And then I think it was just 1 chiseled marble. I'm pretty sure the chiseled marble goes in the middle, right about here. And atop that is where the actual pedestal itself goes. From there, we have something I believe that looks a little bit like this. You kind of have a cross in the middle made out of stone with those little T-shapes at the end here. We then have little L-shapes with this marble, I believe. And then I'm pretty sure that the rest of the outer edge here is marble arch. And I've reversed the number of marble arch and marble brick we need, I believe. I'm pretty sure that that is correct. Oh, I'm missing the, thank you, chat. I did do it right the first time. These are stone brick, right? That's the problem. That's why it's always useful to have the helpful eye of Twitch chat ready to go. Thank you. Yeah, this is correct. Okay. So as I was saying, there are all of the rock crystals, there's the default unattuned rock crystal, and then there are all of the rock crystals attuned to different constellations, and depending on which crystal you place into the ritual pedestal, that will change what effects you get. Now, if we use this guy right here, the Mineralis crystal, we can use this altar to turn regular Minecraft stone into ores. It kind of works in a similar way to something like the Orchid from Britannia, where it will use star power to transform stone into ores. So for that, we're going to have to grab the shift right click. We're going to have to grab the constellation paper for Mineralis, this guy right here. We're going to have to head back over to this guy over here, and we're going to have to reposition our spectral relays to allow us to attune one of these rock crystals to Mineralis. So if we hold this, we get an idea. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is perfect because that is the number of spectral relays that we currently have. So let's just quickly replace these guys. Perfect. So once again, we can drop in a rock crystal. That crystal will be attuned to the correct constellation. I think we're going to attune 2 rock crystals here. The reason for that is that you need to put 1 rock crystal actually into the altar, but the altar itself does also require star power from a nearby collector crystal. Now, I don't know if it matters at all if the collector crystal that you use has like a matching constellation, but just to be on the safe side, and because we already have this set up, I feel like we might as well make our new collector crystal using the same constellation. All right, so we now have 2 rock crystals attuned to Mineralis. I think we can go ahead and put one of these in over here. Now, you'll see these particle effects. This, I think, in theory is working. I don't think it's actually going to work until we provide it with power. Let's put the constellation paper back, just so I don't lose that. And let's make another collector crystal. So for this, we need 4 more resonating gems, 4 illumination powder, and 4 star power. We have 3 star power, so 1 more gets us there. 4 more illumination powder we actually already have. And then as for 2 more resonating gems, that is not going to be a problem. Let's do 1. And 2. Perfect. Okay, that should be pretty much everything here for another crystal. Again, we want to make sure we're using the rock crystal that is attuned to Mineralis. We are indeed, so we'll go ahead and right click. And then now, if we take this over here, what we should be able to do is, for example, let's put this guy down like that. That, I do believe, is 16 blocks away from here. People did point out, of course, that a Minecraft chunk is 16 blocks. So if you hit F3G, you can see the chunk boundaries here. So we can see that this is kind of the corner of one chunk. This is the corner of the next chunk, so we know this is more than 16 blocks away. Quick little tip there. Now if we link this up, though, this should begin working. So right-click and right-click. Look at that. You'll know it's working when you see the lovely blue circle here. So now, if we were to put stone down, I think this would begin to work. Once again, I'm going to quickly swap this out for another piece of iron ore. The reason for that will become apparent in just a minute here. But just as a way of testing this, let's take some regular stone and let's put it down, let's say like right here. I think it's possible that eventually that would turn into ore. However, there are ways that we can make this better. And it has to do with this kind of starlight here that's being reflected away from the altar. What we can do is we can make a couple of these lenses here to kind of capture this starlight that's being bounced off and fire it right back at the Ritual Pedestal, thus kind of imbuing the Ritual Pedestal with even more starlight to allow it to function better, right? And therefore, in our case, turn stone into ores faster. So I think we're going to need about 5 of these lenses here. 5 lenses is quite a lot of regular lenses, but thankfully we have a ton of those ready to go. We also need aquamarine, gold, ruined marble, rock crystals, and engraved infused wood. That's all the same stuff we had before, and thankfully is all super easy to get. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get like a stack of infused wood here. That's going to allow us to make a bunch of this engraved wood, like so. Again, I'm hoping that's going to craft all of that at once. Perfect. And then at that point, we just need some gold, some aquamarine crystals, and some ruined marble. These never despawn, by the way, so you can just leave those in there, and I'll come back to those whenever I need more of the size 400, purity 100, cutting 100 crystals. So let's see, how many of these can I make? Apparently no more than 1. You do need to make sure that, actually, yeah, I think I probably want to use some good rock crystals here for maximum star power. Oh. Did I just use 1? What in the world? Did I just use 1 rock crystal to make 5 lenses? Oh, apparently large crystals give you extra. Interesting. Okay, so we got 5 from now, which is very nice indeed. You'll see this has turned into iron ore, which is perfect. The idea being, of course, that we're going to try and automate the placing down of stone and the breaking of ores, because eventually we will get both diamond and emerald ore from this setup here. It's just going to take a while. However, before we get, again, too far ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and put down a lens right about here. And again, you can kind of see you want to put it at the end of where this light beam is coming. At that point, we can then grab our linking tool and redirect this back at the pedestal. At that point, we'll see another light begin to reflect over here. We can do the same thing again. We want to make sure we get to the right spot and put down another lens, like so. And we'll reflect that right back. And we'll do this a couple of times. Again, I think maybe 4 or 5, potentially 6. But each time we do this, I do believe that we're kind of amplifying the speed at which this can work. You'll know you're getting there when you start to see the shape, the outline of the constellation on the floor. I do think that this here might be the last one. We are going to have to wait for night to fall again before we get the constellation back. Look at that. Okay, so I think that's actually as many as we can put down, because now you'll see there's no more kind of light being reflected anywhere. I don't think it's reflecting back this way. So I think this is good to go. And I think this is as powerful as we can get it. And so hopefully now this will turn this a little bit faster. And there is one more thing that I would like to make, and that is this guy here, the Ritual Anchor, because while we can put stone down in this area, the area in which we can work is severely limited due to the fact that we can't put anything down kind of in this center area here. So if we get ritual anchors, we can actually move the area that the ritual works in. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second here. But to make this, we need glass panes, lenses, another resonating gem, a stardust, some gold nuggets, and some regular gold. So let's get that resonating gem real quick. Perfect. We should already have the lenses. We do. Do we have any glass panes? We do as well. Perfect. And other than that, we're just missing the stardust and the gold nuggets. We do have 7 gold nuggets there. And of course, we still have infinite stardust being made over here. So that should be pretty much everything for some ritual anchors. Perfect. Now, not only does this allow us to move the area within which the altar, or within which the ritual effect takes place, but it also allows us to make the ritual area here look even better than it already does. It's already quite the light show. However, if you place down a ritual anchor at the top of this kind of top light beam here, so if we go all the way up to, I believe, right here, and I know I did just hear that crack there, that should be fine. We need to replace this guy. And hopefully everything, again, kind of realigns itself. What we should be able to do is we can place this other anchor down basically anywhere that we like, and then we can place stone around the other anchor to turn it into ores, right? So for now, let's just put it down over here. We might end up moving this in the future, but if we were to go ahead and put it down, let's say right there, what we can do is we can link this anchor to this anchor. Not only does that give us a fantastic light show up here, which just looks incredible. I really do love the way that Astral Sorcery looks. It also moves these particle effects over to this area. So now, if we were to start putting stone down around that anchor, that stone would slowly but surely begin transforming into ores that we can then, of course, break. And if we wanted to, and we do want to, we could begin, and we probably do want to, by the way, automate the smelting of stone in a second here. But we can also get something like our scanner to begin automatically scanning for ores, breaking ores, placing down more stone, and kind of repeating that process for automated ore generation. So this should, in theory, be working. It's still not crazy fast, but again, if we get it automated, with like a scanner and a miner, we can, just let it passively run and passively start to generate resources. Of course, any emeralds that we get, we can use to actually just craft the block. Any diamond ore that we get, we can use to turn into emerald ore to then make the emerald block. However, there is, of course, one problem. Their one problem is that if we do get diamond ore, there's no way for us to pick it up without turning it into diamonds, right? We need Silk Touch in order to make that happen. Now, of course, we could, if we wanted to, look at just setting up a vanilla Minecraft, enchantment table, throwing down some bookshelves, and enchanting book after book after book until we get what we're after. I don't know if there's a good way for us to get experience outside of just smelting a ton of stuff, so that doesn't really seem like the best option for us. Thankfully, Astral Sorcery does add this guy right here, the Stellar Refraction Table, which is why I've been placing down the Star Metal ore all this time, because we do need 2 Star Metal ingots for it. And this guy is pretty nifty in that it can also use the different constellations to imbue different effects into tools and potions. So to make it, we need 4 of these infused wood columns, which are made with infused wood planks, which we actually don't have. We've got a ton of infused engraved wood, which is not what we're after. However, we can make the pillars here actually fairly easily. Perfect. We'll go ahead and make, I guess, 6 for now. So now that we've got the columns, we have the star metal. We do need 2 resonating gems. Again, that is completely fine. We should probably look at some point at just getting multiple of these altars down so that we can have like a lot of this stuff automated. Might be a bit too late for that, honestly, but it would be nice to not have to keep making these resonating gems here. Either way, for now though, what are we missing? I think we're just missing some ruined marble, which we actually already have. So, the only thing we're missing now is 2 lots of dye. Any dye will do, and I do believe that at the moment, red dye is currently the easiest dye for us to get. So if we grab 2 of those, come back over here, and begin crafting up the table. Like so. Perfect. Oh wow, that's quite the light show, eh? Interesting. Now, in order for this to be able to work, we're going to need some parchment, which is easy enough to make. And in fact, we might already have some parchment in one of these chests here. But if we don't, that's fine. It's pretty easy to make. We're also going to have to get one of these guys, some Infused Glass. This is made with 2 lenses, 1 colored lens, which thankfully we do have. We've got the push lens here. We also need 4 resonating gems and 4 stardust. So once again, the resonating gems shouldn't be a problem. The stardust also should not be a problem. In fact, none of this really should be too difficult for us. While we're waiting for these to get going, we can begin turning some of our wood here into paper. Perfect. So that is parchment paper. And then that we should also, I think, have everything for the lens. We do. Perfect. Okay. So let's put this guy down for now. I guess like maybe right here. It's quite the table. And I actually thought it was going to go down the other way, but this is fine. So what we can do here is we can place in our parchment. We can place in our infused glass. And then if we right click on here, we get this interface. So each one of these constellations here on the left and right hand side will give a different effect to the item that you put in. I happen to know, because I looked it up ahead of time, that this one here, which I think is boots, does allow you to infuse a tool with the Silk Touch effect. So I believe the way this works is we want to put 3 copies of... okay, that will happen from time to time. Hopefully it doesn't happen too often. I believe it does use some of our parchment each time it happens. But we want to put 3 copies of boots down. It might be best if I stack these over each other. No, we need more parchment. Okay, that's actually fine. We do have the ability to make more parchment. Okay, that worked. So we just put them down by not overlapping them, and that seemed to work. And you'll see now we have this engraved glass here that is like that has the boots constellation effect. And so I think if we were to take the paper out, the lens still does have the effect here. And so if we were to then, for example, put in our crystal pickaxe, it should get infused with the power of boots to eventually become a Silk Touch pickaxe. Look at that. And so now, of course, going forward, if we wanted to, we can go ahead and start breaking stuff like this. We don't need to leave this marble here. And in fact, I'll probably end up replacing this with like a different marble. Like a pillar would make more sense, I think, than using the ruined marble here. But this does look super cool. But now, if we do get any diamond ore, we can actually pick it up using the crystal pickaxe. On top of that, we could take it one step further by actually using a mechanical user to automate the picking up of all of our ores with the Silk Touch pickaxe, which is going to be super useful. So now that we have this all good to go, now that we have the ritual ready to transform our stone, and we have the pickaxe ready to harvest the stone, of course, the final piece of the puzzle here is to actually get the stone generated and placed down so we can actually transform it and mine it. So I think what we are probably going to do here is we're going to re-engage this cobblestone generator, first of all. I was contemplating for a second maybe moving this over here somewhere, but I think we can probably just leave it where it is and utilize ender chests to move the actual finished stone to where it needs to be. All we need to do in that case then is actually once again place down another miner, like so. That's going to continue to generate cobblestone for us. We can, of course, also go ahead and move this guy. I think what we will probably end up doing here is once again utilizing our good friend, the flat transfer node. Although actually, yeah, no, let's go ahead and use a flat transfer node. That's going to allow us to move the cobblestone up. And again, you've got to, it's so hard to use this with the carry-on mod. We've got to be far enough away to not pick it up, but still close enough to place this down. If we shift right click, we can place down the flat transfer node. At that point, we can then put this guy on top like so. And that should begin, slowly but surely, filling up with cobblestone. Perfect. From there, we then want to get another one of these electric furnaces from Extra Utilities. Thankfully, pretty easy to make. 4 ruined marble, 2 sooty marble, 1 furnace, 1 star metal, and then a machine block. The machine block, by far, going to be the hardest part of that equation. Let's go ahead and get another star metal smelting up in there. The machine block, a bit of a finicky craft, but nothing too difficult for us. 4 chiseled marble, 2 shaped radiant quartz, 2 aquamarine, and then 1 redstone gear. Do we have shaped radiant quartz? We totally do. I'll go ahead and take some of that. As for redstone, we already have redstone, so if we combine that up with, I believe, a wooden plank, I think it is, to get the redstone gear. It is. Perfect. At that point, what are we missing here? We're just missing the 4 chiseled marble, which actually, 1, 2, 3, shouldn't really be a problem for us. Boom, and boom. Perfect. So that gets us 4 more machine blocks. We are going to need a ton of these if we're going to make the rainbow generator. So at some point, I might look into just bulk crafting these, because in the next stream, we're likely going to start looking at making the rainbow generator. And to make the rainbow generator, you need the top and bottom half of the rainbow generator, which are made using all of the generators from extra utilities. On top of that, in order to actually run the rainbow generator, you need another copy of all of the generators from extra utilities. So we need to make 2 lots of all of the generators, which is 32 generators in total, and each one does require one of those machine blocks there, so quite a few of those are going to be necessary. For now, though, let's go and grab some runed marble. Let's also go and chisel up some sooty marble. And at that point, I think we're basically good to go. Yeah, we need a regular furnace, which we have. We need that star metal ore we smelted earlier. Put it all together, and we get another furnace. Nice. We might also go ahead and make some more speed upgrades as well. There are 4 in here. We could make more if we wanted to. I do think it's probably also about time. I was going to say it's probably also about time that we made another set of translocators, but I think what I might do, again in the interest of allowing us to speed the furnace up if we want to, I might put the furnace just right here. It is, of course, super janky, as this entire setup is, but at that point what we could then do is just utilize a regular transfer node and some transfer pipe to move the cobblestone over into that furnace. We are also going to need, by the looks of it, 1 more ender chest, but that shouldn't be a problem for us. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have 2 ready to go. That is fine. But essentially, over here, I'm thinking if we do something like this, I don't think it matters that that is connected, like the stone can't go in there. However, if you do want to disconnect pipes like that, what you can do is you can use the wrench from Extra Utilities 2, which is super easy to make, and then you can right-click the connection that you don't want, like this, and it will just disconnect. So now all the cobblestone is going directly around and into here, and at that point we can begin then sending that stone over to where it's needed. We do, of course, have stone being generated over here as well, but I don't really think, at the moment at least, it's really sustainable enough for us to use it continuously. So now we have more ender chests. Over here, we can once again utilize a flat transfer node, this time to pull out of the furnace and up into the ender chest. So I think what we will do is, of course, we'll set this to control right-click, like so. We'll have the ender chest above it. And before we put that down, let's go with a frequency that we're not currently using. Right now we are using white, white, purple, and white, purple, white. We want to go purple, white, white. Okay. Purple, white, white is the frequency we're not using, so purple, white, white. We might as well do it here as well. Purple, white, white. Perfect. Someone did point out that we should probably look at making like a diamond pick. I think that would make our lives a lot easier in terms of moving these ender chests. The crystal picks don't really do a great job of it, and the iron pickaxe is also pretty slow when it comes to moving that as well. So I think if we were to just do something like this and just whip up a regular vanilla Minecraft diamond pick, that might help us speed things along a little bit in the ender chest department. Still not crazy fast, but definitely a little bit faster than it was previously, which is always nice. Okay, so essentially we're going to have the 1 chest here, which should be empty, and then should start filling up with stone. Oh, I did this incorrectly, of course. I have, somewhat annoyingly, I didn't want to control right-click that. Control right-clicking would have pulled the items down into it. We want to shift right-click, which again, is a pain because you have the carry-on mod. So we're going to fly away, shift right-click like that, perfect. Then put down the ender chest, perfect. Then it starts to fill up with stone. Perfect. Okay, so now back over here, what we can do is we can take the stone from the ender chest and we want to place it down. I don't know the exact radius of the ritual here. Like, I know the ritual works on kind of this plane, like the on the level that the anchor is at. I don't know if it works above or below. I guess we could test it, right, by putting down some stone. Like if I do this, this, and this, I know this one's going to turn into stone. I don't know if these two are going to turn into stone. Yeah, see, that one worked. And that one worked quite fast. I think it might just be on like the flat level here. That's where the particle effects are. Oh, never mind. It does also work here as well. Interesting. Okay, that's fine. For now, we're just going to have one piece of stone being placed. We could, if we wanted to, in the future, look towards having multiple pieces of stone be placed down to increase the speed at which we start generating resources. It really depends on how fast this goes. If we start generating resources fairly quickly, I'd be fine leaving it with just one. But if we end up in a situation where they're not coming in fast enough, then we might have to tweak things to make them quicker. So for now, we're going to have a system that looks a little bit like this. We're going to have two mechanical users pointing at the center, and we're going to have one scanner also pointing at the center, like that. I think what we then want to do is we want to utilize the scanner here, and we'll set this to stone, I think is what we're going to set it to. So we'll put down some stone, and before that stone gets transmuted, we're going to set to current block. So this is set to regular old stone. When it sees stone, it's going to emit a redstone signal. So I think what we would like to do is set both of the mechanical users to off when they receive a redstone signal. What that's going to allow us to do is activate them whenever the stone transforms. Because what's going to happen here is the scanner is going to emit a redstone signal so long as there is stone here. As soon as this turns into anything that isn't stone, aka an ore, this guy is going to stop emitting a redstone signal, and because we've set these guys to activate when there isn't a redstone signal, that's when these two are going to start doing their thing, right? Now, in fact, this guy here can be always on. This guy is going to place block, right-click, upper left slot only. So in here, we can fill in most of these slots with anything. What we're going to do is we're going to have translocators pull from here into here, and that's going to generate stone that can then be placed down, right? And we can have that on all of the time. So we'll just say that's always on. Over here, we're going to have use item on block. We're going to, for the first time, switch from right click to left click, and we're going to say upper left slot only. This is where we're going to put our crystal pick. So, and this one we do want to be set to redstone off. Because that way, as soon as this turns into an ore, which hopefully it will do fairly soon, that will then go ahead and break the ore. At that point, I think the only thing that we're missing is an item collector, because I think the way it is currently set up, unlike the mechanical miner, the way that the user is going to work, because it has a pickaxe in it, it's not actually going to pick up the ore, it's just going to throw it out into the world. So I think we are going to have to get some more item collectors. But again, thankfully, those are not really too bad. Do we have enough sooty marble? We totally do. Let's go ahead and just craft that back into regular sooty marble. We then need a hopper and an ender pearl. So ender pearl, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do believe we've got an abundance of chests. We do indeed. We have 16 ready to go. So hopper and item collector. Nice. And for now, at least, we'll go ahead and we'll put this down, let's say right about here, with this guy on top. And so that should basically be ready to go. The final piece of the puzzle is, of course, to get those translocators. You know what? Let's go ahead and use another flat transfer node here, just because they're so much cheaper than the translocators are. The translocators are faster, of course. This time we do want to control right-click, like so. But then we can just move this guy here up by one, instead of having to get a whole new set of translocators out. And there we go. That should be basically a fully automated ore generating system. Depending on how many ores we get, we could see this chest fill up. If this chest does fill up, we could always look at putting down a few storage drawers, maybe even a drawer controller to kind of collect all the ores that are coming in. But ideally, over the time between this stream and the next stream, we're going to generate enough emerald ore, either to just make enough emeralds, because if we get 1 emerald ore, that's 4 emeralds. So really, we'd only need 3 emerald ore to get the 9 emeralds required for the quest. Alternatively, we could, of course, get some diamond ore, use that diamond ore to make emerald ore, and then, use that emerald ore to make actual emeralds. We probably will come back to this, because I think we're going to want to massively increase the amount of stone that's being placed down. I do have a few ideas involving some ender porcupines as to how we could put down a lot more stone at once, because, of course, the more stone we have down, the faster this can go, right? Because the more ores can be made and the faster they can be picked up, etc., etc. The reason we're probably going to want to come back to this is because in order to get the secret ending, we need this guy right here, which is made using the Opinion cores. And these are made with nether stars and iron and more Opinion cores. There are different tiers of Opinion core here. You see we need the perfected cores, but there is inspiring, amazing, damn good, good, decent, passable, mediocre, pathetic, and then that's it. And you'll see that going through here, we need many, many blocks of gold, iron, diamond, and specifically emerald, right? That's in the decent tier. And don't forget, you need 2 decents to make a good, 2 good to make a damn good, 2 damn goods to make an amazing, 2 amazing to make an inspiring, 2 inspiring to make a perfect, and we need 2 perfects. So we're going to need so many emeralds if we're going to make this work that there's no way we get this, using the current setup here. So we probably almost certainly will come back to that in the future. So I think, chat, in the next stream, we'll come back. Hopefully we'll have everything it takes to make the old block of emerald here. And then we'll look at completing some of these other quests. I think that these 4, the Bottle of Enchanting, the Block of Infused Evil, the Chorus Flower, and the Indexer Remote, I think all of those are actually going to be fairly easy. Like, none of these seem so difficult that we can't get them done fairly quickly. None of them require quite as involved a setup as this. So I think we can get those done fairly quickly. And then, of course, after that, we then have to start looking at this generator here, which I think is probably one of the things we will start to work on in the next stream. We'll see if we can't get all of the generators ready. We'll see if we can't look at getting all the resources to power all of those generators, because we do need all of them running simultaneously in order for the rainbow generator to come online. And then, of course, at that point, we can then look at actually generating some rainbow stone. But for now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's stream there.